This is a battle Masterbean sent to me in response to the video I made about Run to the Hills Avars versus Danes. Me and Obelix played a lot of battles with the Avars versus the Danes. Since the Avars have no cavalry, a fairly obvious counter to them would be a faction that has both horse skirmishers, horse archers, and a decent cheap cavalry. However, it's not that simple, as it rarely is in Total War, and Masterbean wanted to show me a battle where he was playing against the Avars and how he chose to counter them. So I have more videos that I've played with the Avars and with the Danes, but it would be very interesting. I quite like when people say, well, I've tried something that might work here, and let's have a look at it. Let's have a look at how he chooses to counter the Avars with the Danes, or respond to the Avars with the Danes. So Levy Freeman, of course, he has 4 Levy Freeman. Then he has 2 Spearmen in the back, a Warlord Companion General, no point in bringing the Housecarl Gen. Then he has Berserkers, Big Axes, Berserkers, Big Axes, and Berserkers. His front line is front line of Axe Herdmen. He has a total of 4 Axe Herdmen, so I assume max 4 of the same unit. Then he has 4 Armored Archers. The Avars here, Avar Noble Lancers, Avar Lancers, and Avar Guard. One more Avar Lancer. So I'm not sure what the cavalry max is here, but this is certainly very little cavalry for the Avars, and too few foot skirmishers in my opinion as well, but let's see how it turns out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 foot skirmishers. With the Danes, I think you can go full retard with, against the Danes, you can go full retard with foot skirmishers, because you don't have any cavalry to contend with. Levy Spearmen up front, and then we have Avar Noble Swords here. So against the Danes in particular, I think that Avar Noble Swords are kind of a waste. I also think spears are a waste to a certain extent. If you aren't severely limited in the amount of cavalry you can bring, I wouldn't bring them. So if there was a 6 cavalry max here, then sure, you have to do this. And like I said in the original video, a 6 cavalry max is going to gimp the Avars significantly, especially if skirmish cav is counted for that maximum. Now, if not, then you could bring 4 to 6 horse archers, and they are extremely deadly, those horse archers. When they have spent their ammunition, they can also charge in, so they can charge in and do some damage to the big axes, or you can go for rear charges with them. Very useful to have, and it also allows you to be very aggressive. And since these units have a very low missile block chance and very little armor, I find it's actually worth it to fire on them even with horse archers, just to get them off the field. They don't have the best morale, and getting them off the field early on can be very, very useful. So as you can see, the Avars aren't really able to put any pressure early game on the Danes here. Not able to send any horse skirmishers around the flanks, because there are no horse skirmishers around the flanks. And in order to sort of ball up the enemy army, I think sending horse skirmishers around the flanks is extremely, extremely useful. Because if not, then the entire Dane army, multiple lines of infantry, can just continually push the Avars back. And one of the problems with using shock cav, or indeed heavy melee cav, against infantry now is that it will be very hard to break the unit on one charge, and if you pull out, you're going to be losing a lot of men. If a unit supports the fight, you're going to be losing a lot of men. So it's not that easy. Cavalry isn't the game winning hammer that we know and love from Attila. So armored archers here, they do have quite a bit of armor, 46 armor.
The enemy has laid an ambush!
The axe herdmen are, let's see, are they going into shield wall? Nope, not yet. The Avars are even firing downhill, and this is a mistake. Engaging stationary cavalry like this. Let's see, the axe herdmen took a beating. But the interesting thing is what happens to the Avar Noble Lancers once they start pulling out from here. The axe herdmen get broken, But if the Avar Noble Lancers lose too many men here, this is decisive. Oh yeah, look, one unit gone, one Avar Lancer gone. Nicely done here with the Avar Lancers getting into the Danes there. But yeah, lost quite a lot of Avar Noble Lancers there, losing some men on the disengage as well. So I'd say that was not worth it. The Avar Noble Swords taking some fire in the back here. The Axe Herdmen getting charged, multiple units. The Avar Noble Swords rush in. Rear charge from the Avar Lancers. And the Levy Spears go to engage the Berserkers, which is a good idea. But here's the problem with the Danes being able to push in a single direction. They have so much infantry. Here come the big axes, they're going to carve through the Levy Spears. The Axe Herdmen come in here. Big axes charging into the Avar Guard. Let's see how they do here. They might not have gotten, they might not have gotten a charge here properly. Well, yeah, they did definitely get a charge. They're getting a lot of killing done on that Avar Guard. And look at how quickly the Avar Guard drops. This is very bad for the Avars. Taking flaming shots and pulling out. Let's see. Wow, that one charge to get rid of that one Danax unit. The Avar Guard lost 40 men, and they're continuing to lose men due to the flaming arrows. So that's pretty bad. The Warlord's Companions doing decent against the Avar Noble Swords. The Avar Noble Swords do have the 50 damage sword, and now the Avar General is dead. The Berserkers standing around and not doing anything. They aren't charging, taking fire point blank. Avar Noble Lancers coming in from the rear together with the Avar Noble Swords here. And there's also Avar Cavalry running mayhem in the backlines of the Danes. But the Dane archers have been able to fire continually here, while the Avar foot archers are wavering, in no small part due to the fear from these berserkers and from losing their general. So at this point, it's lost for the Avars. I think this is a good example of... Now, keep in mind, I don't know the rules for this particular battle, so that will influence things. The less cavalry you can bring, the worse the Avars are. But this is a very good example of how engaging the Danes head-on with the Avars is not advisable. You just don't get enough time to skirmish with your archers. And you can't, although you might break one line of infantry with your cavalry, you're going to take significant casualties, and that's exactly what happened here. I almost tend to think it's not worth charging big axes head-on with cavalry and just shooting the crap out of them instead. They are a priority unit, very important to get the big axes off the field. Because in one charge they can remove one of your units from the field, whether it's an engaged cavalry unit or if it's an infantry unit. But yeah, the Avar foot archers about to break here, and no chance whatsoever. The Avars got broken. Pyrrhic victory there for the Danes. If you look at the kills here, the Avar Noble Lancers, they do get some kills against the Axe Herdmen. Some of the spears, Levy Spears, do quite well. But the archers need to, in an army like this, the archers need to perform really well, and they weren't able to. The armored archers of the Danes, they didn't get that many kills, but they were very important in doing the damage to these cavalry units of the Avars. So when the Danes have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 infantry units, that's a significant force of infantry that needs to be skirmished for an extended period of time. And let's see, I'm not sure what the funds were, whether this battle was played on large or medium funds or what they were, but just to illustrate something here, let's see here, large funds. So if the Avars can bring up to 4 horse skirmishers, Avar horse archers are a must. If they can bring up to 6 cavalry, Avar lancers, and perhaps Avar noble lancers, like so. And I don't like to bring, if you're going full Avar, I don't like to bring much in much infantry. Now the cool thing about the Avar noble archers is that they do have a bit of armor, and they do have 53 missile damage, and that helps a lot in killing enemy units. So you could even bring in some Avar noble archers, and you also have the funds actually to upgrade some of your cav units. Upgrade here as well. So as you can see, if you're choosing to go the full cavalry route, it enables you to bring a lot of good shock cavalry. It enables you to bring 53 missile damage of our noble archers. They are heavy, but that's not really a problem, because they are going to be able to they're basically on a post on the field aside from the armored archers. The armored archers, they are a nice unit, but when you heavy shot them with even levy archers and you focus, because you are going to be outnumbering them, first you focus on the first line of infantry, then you focus on the archers and send out the Avar noble archers on the flanks. So ideally the enemy has to screen those archers somehow. The Avars can be very frustrating to face, but the battle Masterbean sent really good example of the strength of the Danes. If you engage the Danes head on, chances are you're going to lose even with the Avars, because the Avars are not an engage head-on and win faction. They are a skirmish, pull back, skirmish, pull back, kiting faction. Strength and honor.